Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and it's time for us to build another ridiculously big model. And today's ridiculously big model comes to us from Bestiarum, of course. Unfortunately, I have a bad habit of not ever showing off my Bestiarum stuff, and I mean, I've been supporting them since, I think, almost the very beginning at this point. But today we're going to take a look at Kourrakas the Unyielding, and that is his base. Now, unfortunately, I got a nice big gap that is going to need some work. I'm not super happy about that. But you can see already from the size of the base, the size of my hands, he's going to be a big guy. I know they've been doing a couple 75mm models of selected figures from each release. But I think this guy is basically taking that spot by himself. So the first thing about this guy... he's got major Godric the Grafted vibes. He's got his feet made out of multiple hands, limbs, I don't know. This is part of their, I forget what they're called, their legions. Now, despite that gap, you can see here his feet fit quite nicely onto that base. Everything is pretty smooth and attached right there. And then there's the body. The body barely fits in my hand and consists mostly of his cape and his, I forget the name of the various armor types of the Roman legions, but obviously it's Squamata? No. Leorica? I don't remember my... Anyway, he's going to be big. Very statuesque, even though he's standing on top of a statue, as you can see here. We've got his head in his beard, and I like the fact that his headdress is basically made out of bones. Whose bones? I don't know. We've got the shoulder pad that's going to attach right there, and underneath said shoulder pad are four or more arms, and I've busted this sword twice now, and I'm hoping it stays. I'm going to have to get some milliput or something as it is, something to close that gap and smooth it over. I don't think green stuff's going to really do the job, but we'll put a little bit in that little crevice as well on the sword to help support it. So in addition to those two blades that are going to go in that hand, he also has his Legion's banner, which is pretty cool, and shockingly is quite sturdy. I was afraid it was going to be totally flimsy. No, it's pretty solid. And I didn't even break anything on it, which is even more impressive, considering you can see all the strings and ropes coming off of it at this point. And it's quite large. I think it's supposed to... I'm pretty sure it's supposed to rest in this little crevice here by my index finger. I'm not 100% sure yet. Sorry. You're obviously going to be yielding to me today. You can see kind of underneath his cape, he's got another arm on this side, upon which we're going to get a shield, again made out of bones, a sword to lead the way to victory. Oh, and I guess the spear goes on the other hand. And I don't know why. I keep trying to clean my stuff really good, and I can see like that kind of residue leftover milky whiteness. And I mean, this stuff is absolutely cured at this point, and just I guess I gotta change out the cleaning solution. Even the spear, this one, nice and solid, so that's a plus. That's all the parts for Kourrakas here, and I gotta say, once he's done, I think he's going to be able to really fit in with a lot of different themes and armies, which I think is really cool. I'm not sure what the Undying Legions, or whatever Bestiarum called it, were supposed to represent. I mean, like I said, I get major Godric vibes with the crazy arms everywhere, but I also get a bit of an OCR Bone Reaper vibe. And that's even more prevalent with some of the other models in the range, which I will grab as soon as I get this guy nice and solid. Whether or not I have anything to fix his base before the end of it is entirely unknown at this point, but we'll take a look and see how things turn out. So, sit tight. Alright, now, my apologies, because I will be the first to admit I didn't do the best job, but I have attempted to put Kourrakas the Unyielding together. You can see that ugly seam of green stuff just jutting down the middle. I had such a huge gap on there. It was awful. And it's still awful, but at least it can be masked with, you know, a slipshod paint job, and we'll just pretend that, you know, it looked fantastic to begin with. No, I mean, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It is the base. Thankfully, most of the model went together with no hassles whatsoever. However, getting his weapons aligned, yeah, that was a challenge. He is massive and he's heavy. And I mean, obviously he gives off major, like I said, Godric vibes. And I thought, you know, here, we'll get some... There's a typical human-sized model. Well, I don't know if the Crimson Court guy is the best choice, because they were kind of big. Okay. That should be a better size indicator to you of just how big Kourrakas is. I was going to call him Godric. Not Godric. Kourrakas. Actually, I think it looked pretty cool with some of the old Dominion stuff from... What are they called? Conquest. From Parabellum. And I'm like looking around, and I know I have some because I just finished painting some, and I don't see them anywhere. They got a bit of that Legionnaire vibe going. A bit of that Holy Order. Dude, where is the guy I was looking for? The Zilliarch with his fabulous cape. I know you're here. I gave up. I can't find him. Anyway. I enjoyed this model so much, and I'm looking forward to painting him, and I am going to paint him up like my old Dominion models, of which I can't seem to find anything but the one I just had there. There's the Zilliarch. I think they'll make good commander buddies. I do like how I got everything at least kind of lined in. It helps keep him supported, even if it's not the most stable of bases at the moment. I think he'll be okay. But I couldn't help myself, as I was saying, and then I started printing off some of the other stuff from this set, like the Undying King, or whatever they called him, who's totally not inspired by Gravelord Nito. I mean, if we're going to be inspired by From games, right? He's just as large, if not a larger base than Kourrakas, and unfortunately, I did not print it that well. Now, this is right before I destroyed my FEP sheet at the bottom of the printer in the resin vat. Thankfully, at least everything on him went together okay. Like, it's going to be a joy trying to paint this. I did actually get all of his little skeleton feet off of the supports all right, but then I managed to break, I don't know how many spikes, feathers, bits of cloak, legs, trying to get everything aligned. Or just touching it. Or looking at it. That got kind of annoying. And then I have another of the models right here. I don't even know what this guy was called. Like the Red Sage or something. I don't know. But he's got this crazy mount. And it is a game and a half trying to figure out which limb goes on which rock. They all do actually have a spot. You can kind of see there. His two heads, and maybe he was the Undying King. I don't remember what anybody's called. All I know is they're fun, crazy models. And, I mean, I know I'm not the biggest undead fan, but when they're just so bizarre and different, I'm definitely going to take notice. Absolutely, in that case. So I'm looking forward to trying to get these things painted. Storing, carrying, yeah, that's going to be a different story. I think magnets are going to have to be the order of the day if these things are ever moved from, like, within 5 feet of where they end up painted, because just all of the bits sticking out everywhere just make it for a real difficult challenge to move them. And unfortunately, that's like the one main criticism I have of this stuff, other than, you know, fighting with the inevitable gaps that my printer is capable of, is that sometimes, you know, it's okay to have a bit, but sometimes there's a bit too much when it comes to those crazy details like that. And I know Bestiarum really puts out top tier models, but dealing with that sometimes is not the easiest. So bear in mind, if you're going to be printing any of this stuff, you've got a challenge ahead of you. Good luck in that regard. And as always, we'll have those links if you want to tackle this stuff yourself. Hopefully have a better time of getting things aligned than I do. And what started as 1 model ended up as 3. So what else is new around here, right? Anyways, have fun with these releases. I know I am. I am looking forward to getting these painted and seeing yours painted as well. So with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.